Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. De Beers Venicia diamond mine, South Africa's largest open-cast diamond producer, launched the construction phase of its 20 billion rand underground project this week. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer attended the launch and tells us more about the project. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Now, the open-cast Venicia operation is still on track to produce 3 million carats before year-end, despite the pit flood earlier this year. Can you tell us about that operation?
You know, you've got two things happening at Venetia, which is really the most lucrative diamond mine, the biggest diamond mine in South Africa. And the one is the open-cast operation, which still is undergoing its operational activities, you know, getting diamonds out. And then you've got the plan to go underground from that. But in the big hole that is going to go down to about 450 meters, they're still extracting diamonds, but they were hit by a massive flood. It's a 1 in 200 year flood. Nobody could believe it in this dry area. It was just water everywhere. And they've been in a drying out process, you know, they were for about 6 months. And despite all that, they still will hit their target of 3 million carats by the end of the year, which is really below par for that mine. I mean, there have been times when it has gone to 8 million carats. So, you know, in the heydays of huge diamond demand, the profits from there are just unbelievable. And but it's now at a level of about 3 million plus carats. And with the underground, it's hoping to go to about 4.5 million carats a year.
What employment opportunities will this investment have for the people in Limpopo?
You know, employment is always top of people's minds now. You know, you go anywhere, it used to be how you're going to fund this. Now it's how many people are you going to employ, because I suppose the world is like that at the moment. They want to know about the opportunities, because there's been such a shake-up. You know, since September of 2008, the whole world has been shaking. So employed there at the moment about 1,300 people. They're talking about then another 22 years. So it's been going, you know, since 1992. It's going to go for another 22 years with the underground. And that's only, you know, what they can confirm. That's the reserve. There could be a lot more there if they go deeper. But at this point in time, they're only going to go a kilometer down with the underground. They will stop the open cast at about 450 meters, and then they will sink 2 shafts, a service shaft and a people shaft, vertical shafts. Connected to that will be a diagonal shaft to get the load haul equipment down. And then they will engage in massive mining techniques, you know, where you extract diamonds through block cave methods and other methods of collapsing of the kimberlite and using automated trucks. You know, I was underground at Finch. I said to one guy, but I can't see the driver. He said, because there isn't a driver. You know, these things are driverless, these trucks, totally automated. You just see them going around and dumping into the crushing section and things like that. So that they eventually, during the construction period, you know, they'll have, I think they said between, 8,000 direct jobs at one stage and about 5,000 indirect during the 7-year construction period. And then they will go into about a constant 1,800 people, which for that area is the lifeblood. You know, it actually supports Messina, which is about 70 kilometers away. It's not the nearest town. All Days is the nearest town. But in the days of apartheid, the All Days spurned this mine. They didn't want people around, you know, to sort of contaminate All Days. So All Days hasn't developed the way it should have, well, even though it's about 30 kilometers away. You know, Messina, which used to be Messina, now Musina, most of the people come in from there. So it's been a big boost for that town. And the main office of the mine is also, you know, at Messina, besides having the offices at Venetia, which is a very pleasant place. I mean, you know, like all diamond mines, they have this concept where you must surround them with wild animals. And the thinking behind that in the days gone by was that, you know, if you had these wild animals, you wouldn't have people coming and stealing the diamonds. But now these have turned into fantastic reserves. And I must say, I just saw elephant all over the place. Wow. And I saw mini kudu and so many baboons, you know. And they said to me, look, you're not going to go to your little cabin on your own. I said, but it's just down there. No. Can't you see the leopards? They could see the leopards' eyes, you know, shining in the distance. So it's quite a place, that Mapungubwe. And legislation now is protecting Mapungubwe from the mine activity. And without the diamond mining, there wouldn't have been the citadel, there wouldn't have been the Mapungubwe. You know, although people in the area are complaining when the coal mine came 30 kilometers away, they said it was going to disturb the area. In fact, this wouldn't be there without mining. But of course, De Beers takes it very... I've never seen any company take the environment so seriously. You know, there's a riverine there. And keeping that riverine with water is crucial to them, keeping the balance, because, you know, they've got wells and they draw underground water for the mine. And they don't want to draw excess water. So what they do is they take a leaf off a tree and they, in the area, and they put nitrogen around it. If under certain pressure that leaf doesn't weep, doesn't have a drop of water coming out of it, they know they're taking too much water and they stop immediately. And then what they do is, like with this flood now, they've built up a dam, so they keep the water. And then immediately they stop drawing the underground water because the plant life is being stressed, and they take it immediately from the dam to keep that balance going. And with the dam, they've also attracted a lot of hippo and all the other things, crocodiles, that you attract, you know, with that sort of water. So they're hugely conscientious, because there's a big stick, a legal stick, that thumps them if they step out of line. But you can see they're also enthusiastic about it. You know, they want to keep that. They're proud of what they're doing there. So it's quite an interesting setup out there in close to the Zimbabwe border. And apparently why we had so many elephants is because they're coming through the fence from Zimbabwe, and they're quite hungry. Some of these, they like the marula bush, and they tend to just flatten everything in sight. If they see a bush that they like, they climb into it.
And they know that the water's not poisoned here.
Oh, that's a tragic thing that happened.
Now, on a better note, the project demonstrates that there's confidence in investors in coming into South Africa. How can South Africa capitalize on it?
I tell you, you've never seen such confidence. I mean, there was Sir John Parker. He was from Anglo-American. You know, he and Jacob Zuma and Mark Kutafani, they turned the first sod together, the spades, with all the cheering workers. They had workers out there galore, wall-to-wall workers, undercover. And that's the way to do it. You know, bring your workers in with you. They had dignitaries like from all over the place. And, you know, the international investors were saying there, whoa, what is this about diamonds? Because, you know, we've just come from another mine. Everybody's cutting costs. Nobody's investing. This is $2 billion. What are these guys, crazy? Oh, so they go along to De Beers and they say, oh, you guys crazy. You know, what are you doing? And then they find out that De Beers are long-term planners of note. You know, they've always been able to see the future. And they see robust demand for diamonds. You know, China is looking good, and hopefully America will pick up again, and Europe. So by the time this mine, it's really a replacement mine. You know, you're talking about a time when this will produce 4.5 million carats. But that's really the average that has been produced over the years by that open cast mine. So this shows you why the fundamentals are so strong in diamonds. There's no supply. People can't find diamonds anymore. This is the tragedy. So just from a supply point of view, people are still very optimistic about being able to invest 20 billion rand in the ground there. And from a demand point of view, when they start projecting it, they say, look, guys, we better look for more diamonds. So that is the scenario around which they're quite confident to say, we're going to go into South Africa. This is an investment destination because there are technical reasons. You know, we can't make this hole any bigger. The diamonds are really underground now. From an environmental point of view, you know, it's even better to go underground than create these big holes. They're enthusiastic about that. Going for another 22 years there. But typically, if all these diamond mines are going, you know, they say that pipe goes much deeper. It's just that you don't drill that far yet, but they know that it continues. So I think it's just a matter of time before those Botswana, you know, open pit mines and the diamond areas of Jwaneng and Arapa also go underground in the same way. And it was interesting because there was quite a big Botswana contingent there. And of course now the Botswana people walk with a spring in their step because they say, do you realize that the Republic of Botswana now owns 15% of the Beers Group globally. But they did have an opportunity, actually. They had an option to take 25% as a state, but they thought they didn't have the cash because it came after the crisis of 2008 and they needed to put money into education, all sorts of things. So they kept it at 15%, but they are saying we part owners here.
It seems diamonds are a businessman's best friend.
They're mining's best friend at the moment because, people are pulling back in other areas in most places. I mean, they're cold in South Africa, they're starting to go ahead because they know Eskom and we've got to keep our lights on. But a lot of the other areas, they're a little bit reluctant at the moment to do anything. You can see they're paying out dividends. That means that they say we're too scared to do anything with this money. We'll give it back to you because if we don't, we're unsure about investing, but not in diamonds. It seems to be a different kettle of fish.
Well, thank you very much, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.